we all have to conserve more. You know, it may sound like something little, but if every one of us turned out the lights when we left a room, if every one of us didn't drive unnecessarily, maybe going to the mall once a day instead of twice a day. I mean, it may sound little, but if you add that up for millions and millions and millions of people, that's a start. And if we demand more energy efficient appliances and cars that get greater gas mileage, all that together will begin to make a difference. You know, the state of California has used conservation for the last 30 years. Their electricity usage has not increased in 30 years because they keep conserving. So when people like the Republicans in Washington and their leadership in the White House tell you we cannot conserve without hurting our economy, ask them if they've been to California lately, because the rest of the country can do that. And we also have to invest in new forms of energy technology. I have a proposal for what I'm calling a strategic energy fund. And here's how I would fund it. I would take the money away from the big oil companies that we use to subsidize them, put that money into a strategic energy fund, and then use that fund to help get us more solar and wind and biofuels. You know, right here in South Carolina, you can have homegrown energy. We not only can use soybeans, we can use all kinds of material, plant material. We just have to get faster and quicker about how to make it into energy. Well, if the federal government leads the way and provides our farmers in South Carolina or our farmers in New York, we have farmers in New York. Did you all know that? We do, honestly. I once had to make a speech in the Senate to say that because nobody believed me. So I said, we have farmers, and I had a picture of a cow, and I said, this cow lives on a farm in New York. And one of my colleagues from the Midwest came and said, okay, you have one farm with one cow. I said, no. So we can do more, but we have to have a plan. You know, just like President Kennedy said we were going to put a man on the moon by the end of the decade, we should say we're going to be as close to energy independent as we can be by the end of the decade. That should be our goal of this generation. This will create jobs. You know, I checked the unemployment rate before I came down, and the unemployment rate in South Carolina is higher than the national average. I don't understand that. We got to create new jobs. You also don't have a minimum wage. That's why we got to raise it in the national government so you can get a piece of bread. But I am convinced if we're focused on increasing homegrown energy, we'll not only be good for our security, it'll be good for our environment, because as a coastal state, just like New York is, you have to worry about global climate change and hurricanes and all of that. But it will also be good for the economy. We will create new jobs. And of course, one of the best ways to be looking at the future for new jobs is through education.